Welcome to PsyCon 2020. Many of the supporting documents can be found in the appropriate G drive. Most of this work fits beautifully within the new national priorities. You can see there the diagram explains those quite clearly. Gradual release is really important. It means that schools get a chance to can start small, get bigger. As teachers and students get used to this, it takes a little bit of time, and we can either go by department or by star teachers, or however you like. This also applies to types of inquiry or PBL work, problem-based learning or project-based learning. As they get better, they can become more and more open, depending on the type of course you're doing and the level. STEAM or STEM projects really fit well once they get into the open stage. This is an outline of what I'm going to do at the moment. I pause any of these this display to show these in more depth, but you can look at the documents as well. This is Snapshot and Pedagogy. 5 is high, and it's a simple tool for looking at what's happening in the classroom. It's very useful for seeing what's going on, plus also helping drive it. In Abu Dhabi, I had a lot of schools, so it was quite easy to do this and keep track of what was going on. Central North Island, you can see quite a big shift in the teachers. I looked at the work with the heads of faculty in a number of schools. And you can see the shift was quite simple. They also used it for their teachers. They were quite excited about how easy it was and how simple it was. In AOBA, of course, when I first got there, I passed it across to staff, and then I did it each year. The last year was in 2020, this year, and it was on the online environment. You can see the massive shift there. It's gone right up towards the highest levels, and that's in an online environment. Following is a short example of how one of the new teachers in 2019 used SNP as part of the training system. Her classes actually complained to the principal when she arrived last year in September that she was doing too much teacher talk and they weren't doing enough themselves, so they complained to the principal. So it only took about 2 weeks for Pauline to visit a few other classes and use SNP to help her classroom environment.
Hi, Pauline.
Hi, my name is Miss V, or Pauline. I am an 8th grade MYP interdisciplinary teacher for math, science, and PE. And I'm here with Paul to talk to you about how SNP has been very useful for my reflection as a new MYP teacher here at AOBA International School.
Okay, so we've been working together for a few weeks now, and
yeah,
let's have a look and see how you're changing the grades.
Yes,
so
let's
walk through them. Okay,
Yeah.
so
this was me a couple of weeks ago. So now I believe I'm here at doing team selections, and I got better at giving feedback, regular feedback to students.
That's good. Okay.
For me,
So put your new mark in now.
right here. So here.
Just to put a tick there. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And then for being a facilitator, I think I became a better facilitator.
Yeah, I saw that happening. That
yes.
was quite good. Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
think the kids have noticed it too, haven't they?
That's right. That's right. Guided inquiry. Yeah, I think the classes has been better at its pace, and they now contribute more positively, and everybody is really they're helping each other more in class. And technology has been more utilized, more positively. So I'd say I'm for.
Okay, excellent. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul.
Excellent.
This is the outline of the CLES, Constructivist Learning Environment Survey. There's 4 scales you can see there. It's been designed and used by Curtin University, and it's now been used all around the world in about 3 or 4 countries at least. It's a very useful tool for evaluating changes in the classroom environment, but it's also useful for driving change in classrooms. Some of the types of questions it's got. There's 5 questions in each scale. I taught classes myself when I first got there, grade 8 to 10, which is year 9 to 11. And you can see there the shift in classroom environment. The blue bars are what they thought the classroom was like when they first got there. The red one is what they actually wish it was like. And the green one is when they finished the trial, which is about 5 months, which is quite a short time in education purposes. But you can see those two have come very close to what they wish and what they think it's actually like. You can do a teacher one as well. The teachers worked in core teams of 3, and they were different subjects. So the teachers were in subjects like performing arts, music and science would be together. That meant they focused more on the pedagogy than the actual content of the subject.
You know what you're doing? Yep. How did you enable team discussions aimed at student decision making in your classroom?
I usually start off my class with an introduction of the big question, and then I do a short KWHL where I actually ask them what do they want to learn regarding that specific topic. I use graphic organizers as well at the beginning of the unit to allow for brainstorming of ideas and putting it all together, and that will help in them making decisions later on in the unit.
How did you encourage teams to participate fully in decision making?
Well, first of all, roles were given for the 3 members, so each student knew what role they had to do, and so they all had the chance to take leadership at some point over the course of the unit. I went over the importance of collaboration and that each member needs to be fully active in their role in order for collaboration to work.
How did you get teams to think deeply and share thoughts about something?
Well, recently I did a team test where the students had to bring together different ideas in order to come up with an answer to solve the problem. So in this way, communication was really the key to do really well for the test.
Thank you.
Looking at assessment of teams now, we've got 2 tools that are used for here. One is the teamwork, how it performs itself, and the kids use this all the time when they're doing, each day they do their planning and things like that, so they use that to see how they're going. And it's a very open one. It's also used in reporting. This is a classic example of a day planner that we use. During the pandemic, we had a link to which Google Hangouts group team they had. Now, this is looking at the teamwork as individuals within a team, and clear descriptions on how they're performing in the team. When we put this onto Google Forms, students are able to check out how each of them are doing without seeing the results before they take that test. This is where it's done here. Students can use this at any time during their work, and it's really a powerful way of improving their performance as a team. PLD should reflect how students are working. This is a workshop from December last year. Kelly there, the leader of the organisation Top Schools, she worked with me all day the day before, so she was well organised as a trainer or a facilitator, and the teachers are using graphic organisers and things like that to do their work. An example of what you expect to see in a classroom.
Thank you. How did you enable teams to participate fully in decision making?
Example of what you expect to see in a classroom. selecting teams using Kohler principles, some examples now and student feedback.
Here's the team working on their story. So here's your team.
Yes. Yeah, we're working on what we're working on.
Yep.
Right. So we read a short story, and then at the end of the story, it doesn't really end with a conclusion. So it ends with the saying, author put down his pen because he felt bad for the characters. So then we're trying to figure out why he felt bad for the characters and the potential ending to that story. So we're writing a script right now, and then later on we're going to act it out, and we're going to film it, edit the film, and present it to class.
Okay, sounds good.
We create all the small little ideas, and after it we organize these small ideas into sentences and more detail, and then we are going to, and we already wrote from here to like 1.5 pages.
Okay.
We didn't finish yet. But
So you're doing your script now.
今あの小僧どうしてるかね。どんなに時が経ってもあの小僧のことを忘れられないんだよ。
きっと大丈夫だわ。あの子のことだから一生懸命に働いて出世してるでしょうしね。
いや、そうかもしれんが気になる気持ちは変わらないよ。
そんなに気になるのなら一度小僧の働いてる係屋に行って様子を見てきたらどうでしょう。
そうだね。今日仕事の帰りに行ってみるよ。
A はあの小僧とのやり取りを忘れようと言い聞かせてきました。しかし2年経った今でも彼の心の奥底には小僧がいました。彼は小僧のことを思い出すたびに自分と小僧の純粋さを再認識してしまい、小僧との記憶をずっと心の奥に隠し、その日からあの計り屋の付近。
こんにちは。体調はいかがですか。
時が迫っているのを感じるよ。
病気のことを考えたのですが、娘さんには正直に伝えてあげるべきです。僕には親がいません。なので家族の温かみなどはよくわかりません。しかし最後まで病気のことを何も知らずに信じ続け、後悔するよりも最後までそばにいられる方が楽だと思いますよ。
先生はとても純粋だね。まるであの子のようだ。
These are in fact STEAM projects. Students have opportunities to show creative innovation. They work through, they all have different endings. Quite a topical sort of a project, this one. Students love doing this. They've got to create things themselves.
Orange color one Chinese
Differentiation within the classroom is very powerful. This is my IB chemistry class, and at different levels in there all teams working at different rates.
Nothing. Can just put them like on top.
الأخضر اللي هي في برونات بسرعة مسؤولية يعني النموذج اللي شفتوه الحين نموذج الانشطار اللي شفتوه اللي شفناه بالرسم ده أعرف على الفيديو شوفوه دخل الخشب بخشب.
This was an example of gradual release. This was the teacher's first try at that. So he did one lesson working this way, and it worked very well. So he's able to move on from that. Finished?
Yes, finished.
Can you explain it?
Yes, explain this is a neutron, which have studied the uranium and became krypton and radium. And 3 neutrons. And continue 3 neutrons hit with 3 uranium and it will stay like بتستمر يعني.
Yeah, very good.
You understand?
Thank you. Yes, very good.
Very good.
Very good. Well done. These were inquiries in the UAE, all very relevant culturally to the UAE. I'm just going to outline one of those, the mangroves. The mangroves have been destroyed a little bit because they created islands by dredging, and the mangroves didn't grow back properly. So they had dug trenches and then they followed the progress of the growth of the mangroves. We all got here. Boys just arriving. And we made it, Mohammed.
Exactly. Hello.
We got
Where's
it.
our destination? Okay. Shabab, let's move on.
I tell you to come here. No, over there.
Assalamu boys. Jom Saeed.
One minute or greater 1 minute. Then you need to circle again the lesson, okay?
كتبت اسمك بس كتب اسمي واحد الا واحد بس رحت شنو نمبر هات صح هات شوف
You can see in that last video they were uploading all the data onto the GIS network. Then they could watch it. We got about 3,000 students out in the first year, which was a huge shift for them. They've never done that sort of thing before, so it was really exciting for them. And how was that, boys? Was that good?
It's very good.
Was that good? How was that?
Very good.
How did you
It's
like
very
that?
beautiful.
Did you learn something?
Yes, yes.
What about the
We
mangrove?
learn how to save the mangroves.
Okay, good. And what about the kayaking? How was that?
It's very good. Very, very nice.
Very good. Do you think you'll come back again one day?
Yes, yes, yes.
Bring your mums and dads back here?
Yes.
Yeah?
Okay.
Good. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Good. That's very
Thank
good.
you.
Very good. Trying to get the kids out doing exciting things. This is at the Piakio airfield near Wahoroa.
If you move the stick to the right, you'll see the aircraft will roll to the right hand side.
Oh, that's so cool.
Okay, and if we want to recover, move it to the left. and hold it, and we keep coming back round to the left. And if you move it back to the right again, and then as we come up level, centralise the control column there, and keep looking at your horizon, and that establishes the attitude which we're going to control the aircraft's glide and speed. Okay? Sweet! Alright, let's give you another crack at one 360-degree turn.
Like, completely?
Yep.
Really?
Okay, move the stick to the right, and we'll hold a little bit of right rudder control. Alright, centralise the stick now. Just hold it in the centre. And look at your horizon, just straight in front of you, right over the nose.
These are team tests. Really powerful way of learning for the teacher, especially as a facilitator. You can hear what's going on and conversations that are going on. They can do them any time if your class is differentiated, so it doesn't have to be at the same time.
You say you will change it.
Because
it will shift to the side where there where.
Well, it's asking about the value of care. So if you look at the
so like when K is bigger than yeah, so like because this one they're making more products, so product ratio, and so okay, so for the first one the K value will increase because the upper value is increasing, and the second one because reactancy is increasing. So when denominator is increasing, the whole number becomes smaller. When
Short reflection on team tests.
Hi team, you've just experienced your first team test in chemistry, grade 11. How was it?
Oh, it was like really new experience, right? Because usually tests you do it by yourself, and when you see a question you don't know, you just panic by yourself. But when you go team test, you panic together.
This highlights really self-efficacy, a confidence, a can-do thing. Learning from each other is very powerful. Assessment for learning at its best. And the next day they did the reflection, a review test, and that review test they can fix up any misconceptions which they fixed up the night before. So they come back as a team and share those ideas.
I really think Mr. Lowe's method should be spread to like more schools, especially the Asian schools where kids are so not used to discussions and speaking their opinion or challenge the authority kind of thing. I think they really need this kind of teamwork so that they know what their peer is thinking about and know each other's progress and can help each other. I think that really builds the collaborative skills and stuff.
Hi Logan and Ben, just a couple of questions on how you're finding working in teams and doing the student-centred work. How are you finding that?
Working in teams is quite easy. When you can't think, two brains is better than one. So when I can't think of something, he's always got an answer for me.
Yeah,
so it's beneficial for both of us.
Yeah, okay.
That's true for me as well. Like when I don't know something and he knows something, I can just ask him, which is good. Like I don't have to spend times on finding it on internet or something. I can just ask him.
Okay. So how often do you have to go and ask Mr. Murdoch?
Quite really. Well, not as much as I did last year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
and what about the thinking side of things? Do you think you're having to think about stuff more?
Yeah. It helps me think a lot better, more efficiently.
Okay. What about your grades? What's happening with them?
Getting better.
Getting better.
Yeah. I think it's because of the thorough thinking I have to do in chemistry in class. It really helps me and benefits me and my externals.
Okay, excellent. Thanks, guys.
An example of a STEM or STEAM project, how it impacts on not just in sciences, but it impacts right across their lives.
For several years now, the fungus has been plaguing bowling greens around the country.
The fungi disease could
come overnight. So you're out spraying the next day. It could be twice a week, it could be once a week.
Increasing resistance to several fungicides has meant it's become difficult to control. That is until two sixth form science students made a chance discovery in a forest near Morrinsville while working on a school science project. They found a naturally occurring bacteria that appears to kill the fungus.
We found one that looked to form clear zones. That means that it was inhibiting the growth of the fungus, so it looks to be successful.
The girls' discovery won them first prize.
My name is Jacinda Ardern. I'm 30 years old. I attended Morrinsville College, and from about 96 and 97 I was a student of chemistry, a fungi that was overtaking the most pristine bowling greens. So we decided that all of the commercial responses weren't working, and that us, the two little students from Morrinsville College, maybe we could come up with a solution. And in the back room of our little science class, we did. Hundreds and hundreds of agar plates went through a production process until we found this one little mystery bacterium that did the trick. The science fair competition, Realise the Dream, the CREST program, those were those little extra added motivation that I think finally got us over the line and eventually took us to South Korea. It doesn't really relate to what I did now, but I learnt a lot of skills through science. How to have an inquiring mind, how to probably persevere, because there were a couple of times where our project just went badly wrong, but we just kept going. And our consultants, primarily I would say our chemistry teacher at the time, Mr. Lowe, but also we managed to tap into other expertise that were within our region, in particular the Ruakura. I think it was called the Ruakura Research Centre. We went and spent a day with them in their laboratory, got a real sense of a working lab, and tapped into some experts in the field who were really intrigued by our project as well, I think, and science. I think, although it's not a field I work in now, having had the opportunity to see the different areas where New Zealand really does incredibly well for a very small country, having tapped into a little bit of that expertise, having learnt how to find an answer and even what you learn along the way, all of that I think has come in.
The UN usually plays host to some of the world's most powerful people, but it was one of the youngest who stole the show at the UN. Baby Neve is just 3 months old and joined her mother, New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, at a peace summit to honour Nelson Mandela.
Mandela was a living embodiment of the United Nations values.
Thank you very much. There's a lot of resources I've put in that G drive that you can feel free to use. And of course you can contact me on those details there. Thank you very much.